the Neil Haley Show and Doc Tales. I'm excited to welcome the host of Doc Tales, Rural Doc, Alan Lindeman. Doc, what's going on, man? How are you?
We're doing really well here, Neil. Michael, nice to have you on the show.
Yeah,
Oh, Doc,
absolutely.
thank you
Michael
so much.
Farino, he's going to talk about LifeWaves technology, how he got introduced, and I will tell my success story so far, only being on it since when we met in Missouri together only a month and a half ago, right? It's only been a month and a half, and I'm singing the praises. I've never had a life-changing product like this, and then I'm being serious. And if you ever not see me say something I really love, that's it. But kind of tell us the journey, how you got approached with LifeWave. And he really understands, Doc, and then you'll go with more questions. He understands the technology, the health behind it. I don't. So that's why I brought him on.
Yeah.
Great.
Where do you want? You want me to start from the beginning, or
Yeah,
how
yeah. Start at the beginning.
Oh, first of all, I'm so honored to be on here. To have you two be, it's just to be asked to be a part of this, and in all your followers. Thank you so much. It means the world to me, and I hope I can bring the right amount of information, inspiration, and imagination on why you need this product. So, that being said, my whole life I've been very blessed to be an entrepreneur, and I was able to retire from the industry when I was 32 years old. And since then, I've had probably every pill, potion, lotion, diet dust, skinny powder, voodoo juice, mummy wrap, you name it, has been shown up at my doorstep, hoping that I would see something in that Me Too product and go build a huge organization for somebody. And I'm telling you, I've turned everything down. And it all happened being born and raised in Southern California. If you live in a beach town, you could probably relate to this story. Moved into a tiny little house in Southern California, 2 blocks off the beach. And every night I'd come home and I would cough. Nobody could understand it. I would cough all night long. And I got to the point where my neighbors were so upset with me because my cough would echo down the road. It would literally wake up the neighbors. And I found out that I actually had a house that had some mold issues. And when I was at home, I would cough. Throughout the day, I'd be fine. So get home, I'd be cough. Well, I coughed so much, Doc, that I actually dislocated a rib. That's how hard I coughed. And I went on Facebook one night and I wrote, "Pain, pain, go away, come back another day." And I had everyone reaching out to me on how they were going to solve my issue, right? And a friend of mine from Kansas City sent me a little tiny Band-Aid and said, "Just try it. It's going to take away the pain." I looked at that patch, I put it on top of my nightstand, and I let it sit there for 3 days. I put the patch on where it told me to, and within about 5 minutes after the third night of being in absolute pain, my cough was gone in a matter of minutes, and my pain decreased from an 8 to probably about a 2. And the first thing that was said to me was, "I don't know what you did last night, but that's the first night sleep I've had without you coughing all night." And that was a neighbor living 3 houses down from me. And I started to research because I couldn't imagine that the patch had that much power in it. I wanted to know what kind of drug was in the patch. I researched and found out that this little tiny company in San Diego was asked to be a part of a think tank for the U.S. Navy SEALs and a mini sub program to keep them alive longer from the mini sub to the main sub after they were in some kind of a combat or some kind of a mission. And one of the criteria is it could have no drugs. The second criteria is nothing could go into the body and there could be no stimulant. All 3 criteria had to be met. The scientists said, what if we could use acupuncture, but without a needle? And we could take frequency, redirect it back into the body, take its own energy source, because I think we all realize that we're born from light. Light is our whole entire body. From the back of our neck to our tailbone, I believe we have this amazing electrical panel and everything ties into it. And if you flip a breaker at home, your wife, your spouse says, "Hey, babe, the breaker broke or tripped. Can you go down and reset it?" And it's real easy. You turn it to the left, you turn it to the right, and it starts back up again. Our bodies doesn't tell us when that happens. And what this does is it goes through and it turns on those breakers that have been shut off from the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, the food that we eat, our daily stresses. Our body takes on so many different types of challenges throughout the day. Of course, it breaks down, right? Well, this patch actually did that, and they got it patented. We have over 100 patents on that little tiny patch. And you put the patch on the back of your neck on your C7, and it runs down that corridor, like I call it, that electrical panel. And I've had such tremendous results sharing it, from people that suffer from migraines, people that suffer from sleep, people that aches and pains, MS. Now, do we cure? No, we don't cure. But boy, what a support mechanism, right? And then I had the idea, how do I get the patches out? How can I, as an independent rep, get my hands on this product? And then where's the best way to sell it? Because I can't put it on a shelf, right, at Walmart. There's no way to do it because you can't tell the story. Well, the company in 2004 launched, and they started building and developing using traditional ways of marketing and stuff like that, not having a lot of tremendous success. And then in 2020, the company was roughly doing about $4 million a month in sales. And the next thing people started talking about, and this is right before the pandemic, they were talking about stem cell technology. Sure. And how stem cells were the new livelihood, and how to regenerate the body and how to rebuild it, and how you could go to Mexico, get an injection, spin your blood cells with something else, and then they put it back into your body to help you rejuvenate your stem cells. Well, our scientists came to us and said, you got to be kidding me. How are they making these ridiculous claims? And they were talking about copper peptide. And, that's the new buzzword, copper peptide in the body. They found out that it's something that goes to sleep. It's one of those, we go back to the electrical panel. It just happens to be one of those breakers that gets popped at an early age. And he says, I can probably do the exact same thing that we do with our pain patch, our sleep patch. We could probably do the exact same thing. I can probably redirect that frequency to turn on that breaker. And if I can get copper peptide growing back into the body, I can then stimulate your own stem cells that went dormant. And within the first 48 hours of wearing our patch, now our patch goes on 12 hours in the day and then 12 hours off, right? That's how it was designed, because your body needs time to recover. So what it does, this actually goes in and stimulates them, and then gives that body time to rest after you've worn it for 12 hours. And some people can wear it at night. Some people wear it during the day. I wear it during the day. I get up in the morning, I brush my teeth, I put my patch on. And at night, I brush my teeth, I take the patch off. That's just how it works for me and my family. And what it's ended up happening is, in the first 48 hours, you stimulate roughly about 7,500 stem cells that went to sleep inside your own body because of the copper peptide. And then we just had a double-blind placebo test done out of Germany. And all of the documentation is on the website. You guys can see this all for yourselves. It states that out of the group that they did, 80% of the group wearing the patch for longer than 9 months, after 9 months of wearing the patch, had a significant, we're talking a 7-year reversal of your cardiovascular system. Just heart health.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
That's as strong as a garlic milkshake where I come from. That's how I look at it. But the idea is how do I get this out? How do we share this story? How do we, without trying to be overcomplicated? And I do have a PhD. I want to let everybody know I have a public high school diploma. I'm not a doctor. So I felt like I had to know all of this. And I said, rather than knowing it all, what if I was to build systems to actually help people get the right amount of information, get the right amount of inspiration and imagination on how they could have success? That's why me and Neil met. and have that conversation about, here's systems out there with new technologies where we could take a company like this, we could take a product that's making a huge impact. Today, we are a $500 million company, and we're in 68 different countries around the world, sharing this simple little patch that absolutely is making a huge impact in lives. But rather than hearing it from me, Neil, I had the opportunity of meeting you a month and a half in Branson, Missouri. And I remember first walking in and realized, you are just a fountain of just information. And it was amazing to me on how big you were, how tall you were, and just, how humble you were. And I remember you talking about some pain, and I said, hey, listen, I can't promise you anything, but try this out. And I put a patch on you. And I said, I just want you to try it and give me your opinion. And that's how I market this product. And I've got people around the globe now that are doing the exact same thing. But rather than hearing it from me, Neil, why don't you kind of just share the story with the
And I'll
doc?
let Doc have a question. So basically, I've seen, first of all, your energy level goes through the roof. You feel younger, you feel better. My swelling in my legs from varicose veins goes away. I see less and less swelling. Even let's say the time that I was off the patch because the order didn't come in, but I saw almost a crash. But you get so many different effects. I think it helps the brain as well, because I think I'm more focused on mindset, different things, and like really where I'm going. I think it helps your mood. I think it really, but the biggest things I would say is pain. Yes. And then when you try to work out, it's a different story. There's no pain in working out as much pain. You have more strength. You're willing to do things. These are the things I'm seeing, but the major thing, and I get it's definitely sleeping better, but the biggest thing I see is the fact of energy. To know now you can, you don't have to have coffee at 4 or 5 o'clock at night now. And you could have energy at 10 o'clock. So when you're ready, your time clock's ready to go to bed at 11, you take the patch off and go to sleep, instead start dozing off at 7 o'clock at night. That's a major thing I see from it. So energy level is going to go through the roof. You're going to start seeing certain skin, like especially my varicose veins, less colorization in my legs that are red. I have not taken my blood pressure yet. I have borderline high blood pressure. I will do that just to test it out to see where that is. But I've heard the other health things, but like when I took this patch off, when I shared it with my girlfriend and I thought an order was coming and it wasn't, I got sick, first of all. Second of all, I felt horrible. Like I'm dragging myself the next day to work and I have to have coffee. I put this patch on. It's like game on. Let's go. Oh, 12 hours, no deal. Let's go. Let's do the 12-hour run. And that's it. That's the bottom line of what I see from this product. It is the only life-changing product where I could literally tell people, put it on, you'll have a change in your life. It's truth.
Yeah, it is.
I was listening for what you said about copper, because that was, to me, that's kind of the magic word I was listening to. How does this work? So you're talking about electrical fields in the back. You're talking about the copper. Now, tell me about more. I want to know more about the copper. Is this an ion? Is this like a +2, or what is it?
That's a great question. The copper peptide's already in your body. So
Okay.
when you're able, as we grow, your copper peptide is what actually spins in through that cellular level and helps duplicate positive ions in the body. And when you start to have a positive effect, what ends up, they duplicate. And then when something starts to decrease, the cells start to duplicate with that decrease, and they just keep going on. They don't know any better. There's no signal saying, hey guys, let's add that copper peptide. There's no switch. And all of a sudden it gets stored in the body. It just sits there waiting. Like, hey, we're here. Let us go back to work for you. And that's why we're having such a tremendous amount of results with anti-aging, with I've got a very dear friend, and sharing stories has never been something that I would want to do when it comes to product, because it's usually somebody else's story, who someone else who knew somebody else and who knew somebody else. And we all know whisper down the lane and telephone. And by the time it comes to us, it's completely distorted. But these are people I personally know that I sent the patch to get their opinion based on their backgrounds. And to have their stories shared with me blew my mind. I've had gentlemen who their natural color hair came back after being silver in a matter of months. And the people that cut their hair go, "Why are you dyeing your hair?" You know, I'm not dyeing my hair anymore.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, those were just weird. I mean, to me, that was just like, okay, all right, I get it. But then to hear a story of a very dear friend who was getting ready to take a cruise. She took a cruise on her 75th birthday, and then she was taking a cruise on her 85th birthday, 10 years later. And she went to get on the boat, and they wouldn't let her on because her passport picture looked older than she was when she was sitting there in front of them 10 years later. And they denied her access to the cruise in Miami, and she's from Arizona. And it's a great, you know, she loves the story. She didn't care for it at the moment, but the fact was is that her picture at 75 and her being at 85 and having her passport right next to her, they would not give her access because they thought it was somebody different. They thought it was a younger sister or something. She goes, "There's no way, if this was you at 75, you can't look like this at 85. You look like you're 60. And they didn't give her access. Now, granted, she was on the product. She was one of the very first people that was asked to be a part of the trial. So she was on the product for a year and a half prior to a lot of us getting on the product. So she was actually on it for a full 2 years before she went on that cruise. So it just goes to show that copper peptide has been in there all that time, and it just wants to go to work. So that's a great question, Doc. You know, how does it work? You know, our bodies are, like I said, we have electrical fields. We have our body emulates. At night, you could have there's special glasses that people use to hunt, and you can actually see a human body because we put off infrared. And if we're able to redirect that infrared back into the body and send those frequencies to certain parts of the body to wake up things that have gone to sleep and that have been dormant, it's amazing what we're going to be able to do in the near future with that technology.
I definitely think so. And it blows me away, Michael. And basically, each person, it's a different story. And the thing is, you got to wear it every day. If you don't wear it every day, you're not going to see as much success. You have to be consistent. And some people, it takes a couple months to see anything. It just depends who the person is.
It does. And one thing I've always told everybody is, especially when I work with chiropractors, and them and hair salons seem to be my greatest customer base, because you got hair salons, they're on their feet all day long. The beautician is on her feet. She's spinning around that chair all day long. And then you got chiropractors that people are consistently coming in for pain, hypertension, allergy. It's amazing, how much chiropractors work with people. And to get the stories back from them and how, my average chiropractor says that this is their numbers that they give me. And we've tracked this for almost 10 months now. There's a 78.9% reaction in the first 24 hours of wearing the patch for the average person. 78.9 people are going to notice a dramatic difference one way or another, either through less pain, higher energy level, incredible night's sleep, less stress, less drag, just movement, a lot more mobility. One of the biggest things is anybody that tells me that they took the jab, and I ask them a very simple question, and do this on your own, everybody. Ask people who did get the jab. Don't get into the conversation of why you did it or why you did it. Just ask them, have you A, noticed brain fog, or B, not? And they're going to say, I've noticed brain fog. I've had not one person in the last 10 months that tell me that they have not noticed a dramatic difference with brain fog since they had the jab. I give them the patch. I've had 100% of the people, 100% of the people go, oh my God, my brain fog.
Yeah, that's gone away for me too, from having COVID 4 times.
Oh, right.
Okay, so I see the brain fog completely go away, where at times I'm like, and it's like, it's there. It's like my ideas are coming out more and more. So that's one thing. It does help the brain as well.
Mental
So
clarity.
there's just different stories that are out there for a patch that costs you literally
$3,
a cup of coffee.
Yeah, a cup
A
of
cup
coffee.
of coffee every day to feel healthy and young again. It's crazy. Doc, go ahead with another question, because let's see if Doc can hit you with some other questions as the
Well,
doc.
Research. Where's the research?
My wife has a question here.
Sure.
Says research.
Where's the research?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. If you would like to go to liveyoungersuccess.com and go underneath the research tab, we have 20 years of documentation. And I do believe documentation beats conversation. See it for yourself. Go look at the clinicals. Go look at the testimonials. Go look, and it's all there. All the videos. We're working on a tool right now that shares all the information in a short amount of time with the help of Neil. And I've got several doctors talking about every type of challenge and how the patch helps that challenge, from neuropathy to brain fog to congestive heart failure, all the way through. Not saying that we cure, but I'm telling you, if I can show you how to get off, I lost my father 8 years ago. I don't think I lost him to congestive heart failure. I think I lost him to the 28 different meds that he was being subscribed.
Yeah.
And it was the side effects of the meds that killed him. He didn't die from congestive heart failure. He died from the 28 different meds. If I would have had the opportunity, if I got a chance to get him back, just one day, if I just had, before I hugged him, before I told him I missed him, but before I, had a conversation, I would flip him around and put a patch on the back of his neck.
How old was your dad?
He was 78. We come from a Sicilian Catholic family, and I was adopted, and they all have horrible hearts. He was the oldest in all the generations before him to make it over 72. Nobody in our family's ever made it past 72, and he was the first one. He got to 78. But he had a quadruple bypass in his 30s.
Wow.
He had another quad in his 50s. He had stents. I mean, he was opened up so many times. It was crazy.
Thinking about the technology, Michael,
Yeah.
it's the amount of time you're on it, right? So right now I'm seeing these things. I'm going to see more success the longer I stay on it. A lot of people aren't consistent. I didn't put the patch on today. I didn't do this. They don't take their meds, or let's just say they don't go to the gym. It's as simple as wake up in the morning. I can't believe anyone could do it at night. I wouldn't be able to sleep.
Right.
Put the patch on, and basically it's game on. And that's what I've noticed is I have all this focus. I'm like, what the heck was I doing the last 6 months? That's the truth. I'm like, what was I doing? I have this focus.
Yeah.
Where I would be strong for 3-4 hours, and then I may out.
Yeah,
Now it's like go, 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 go. And
Yeah.
it's almost 6 o'clock tonight, and I'm ready to roll for more hours.
Yeah.
That's the young part of this. But that's the thing. Keep wearing it every day, and you're going to see more and more changes, because it's really to make you younger. And that's because it's stimulating the stem cells.
Yeah. Your own stem cells. We're not taking it out of the body, spinning it, and trying to put it back in. This is literally your own stem cells that went to sleep. They've been waiting there, but they've needed the copper peptide to activate them. And the only way to do that is either to remove the blood, put it in a machine, take it with an embryo or with something, and take that blood and spin it and put it back in. And then you lose 90% of that way within 72 hours. Our way, you're consistently rebuilding and developing those stem cells.
So when I walk my dog Chewy, I'm like so motivated. It's 7 o'clock after working the entire day since 6 a.m. Get up, walk Chewy outside. Now I'm just rolling around like, let's go. I'm ready to go more.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things. If you're wanting energy level, that's the first success, but you have to pay attention to your body. If you don't pay attention to your body, you'll never see any success with this. Why? Because you really weren't watching any of the signals. Swelling of the legs, pain, brain fog, anger. Do you think it makes me more positive sometimes too? But go ahead, Doc, with another question.
No, actually, my wife wants to talk, but not recording. So
okay, all right, that's perfect. So, Doc, final question before we let Michael go.
Well, thank you very much, and I think this is a good idea. You know, I wanted to learn about the peptides. So this is the copper is connected to a protein. Is that what's happening here?
Yes, that's a great question. And like I said, let me give you that website one more time, just in case. It's called liveyoungersuccess.com. And all of that information is in there. There's so many different doctors from every different type of field that have gotten on board with us. We have one here in Kansas City who literally took 2 years to research it himself. He had such a hard time believing the result from his brother-in-law using it for blood pressure. And to see such a dramatic difference, he really had a hard time knowing that Western medicine and Eastern medicine coming together. And that's what he's always believed. But to see how you could use light and frequency into the body and what it can possibly do on a short amount of time, he had a real hard time. And Doc has done such an amazing job, not only building the business. His wife retired as one of the top registered nurses in Kansas City. She was a trainer, a nurse, trained other nurses on how to do their job well. And she does this full time. And he is 1 foot out of his practice. And his goal is to do LifeWave full time as a supplement part-time, kind of make full-time income with a part-time opportunity. And, you know, as he's done his practice, he's done very well, but he loves watching the results.
Yeah, it really makes you motivated to pick up the phone and call. Take your phone call right now and click up 1,000 people and say, are you in pain right now? Do you have brain fog? You know, and that's it. And just imagine but again, if everyone found out about this, then pharmaceuticals would be out of business.
Well, we got pharmaceutical companies. We've turned down Pfizer. I was told, let me double check the number, but I believe it's at least 5 or 6 times that they've offered to buy us and put us on a shelf. And we said no.
Wow. Okay. All right. Best place I'd say people go is if you want to pick up it, sign up for LifeWave right now and purchase the product. Go to lifewave.com/media giant. And you know what? It's something supporting. If you've been listening and watching my show forever and you say, well, how can I support Neil? Thanking him. You'll thank yourself. Go to lifewave.com/media giant. Appreciate it, Doc. Thanks again, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
All right. That was the special Simulcast of the Neil Haley Show.